Where are we, Emily?
I don't know, where are we, Alan?
Where are we?
You are at BBC Radio Solent, and we've been talking today about possible breaks and changes to wedding legislation ahead of the budget this afternoon. And we thought, well, two people who know all about outdoor weddings, Emily and Alan, we've invited them in.
Yay.
There she is, the other side of the camera.
Yay!
And you can also click on the link on their website as well and listen to what they had to say about it.
Perfect.
Thank you very much. Bye, everyone.
Well, there's a very strong hint that there could well be a shake-up in the industry this afternoon in the budget, which incidentally is at 3:30, and there'll be full coverage on it, or full reaction to it, with Louisa Hannon later this afternoon. She's got a whole panel of local businesses who'll be chewing over what the Chancellor has given. One of the things that people are talking about is a shake-up in the world of weddings, and the suggestion that it might move away from the fairly restrictive sort of approved venue. Some people are saying this is going to really cut down on cost, and this should be welcomed. You are going to hear shortly from someone who actually runs a vintage campsite on the Isle of Wight, who I think is quite pleased about this. With me in the studio, first of all, though, Emily and Alan, who are founders of the Outside Bride blog. You're an outdoor wedding specialist company.
We are indeed, yes.
Thank you very much for coming in.
Absolutely our pleasure.
So, tell me, when you heard about this, when this became news over the weekend, you know, this is so up your street.
Absolutely.
So tell me your story, Emily, first of all.
So Alan and myself have been in events for many, many, many years, and we had our own outdoor wedding a good few years ago, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
And we actually started our own glamping business, mobile glamping. And soon after setting up the business, we realised that our core business wasn't in fact glamping, it was in outdoor weddings. And so many people were asking for our services and stuff. And we swiftly realised that outdoor weddings were becoming big really fast.
So what's the legal position at the moment?
So the legal position at the moment is, if you want to have an outdoor wedding, you can do, but the legal side of it means that you have to have the paperwork side of it done beforehand or after the ceremony that you want of your choice in a registered building with a registrar. If you want to have a service outside, you absolutely can. You can engage the services of a celebrant to come down and do your service, but that is not a legally binding ceremony.
So hence we have couples going off to the registry office in the
Yeah.
morning.
That's it.
Sorry, Karen.
So I'd say, and that's where we have a lot of conversation in our Facebook groups about when do they do that, and do they do that a year before so it's on the same day? Do they do it the morning of the day after? And it's actually quite a big conversation, and not a stumbling block, but it's certainly something that needs to be thought about, because some of them, they don't want the religious part, because the religion part is not as popular as it used to be, and so it literally is they just want to be legally married. So the potential change is absolutely fantastic, isn't it?
I think it's about giving people choice and choice to do what they want. So for some people, doing the paperwork side at a registry office is absolutely fine for them, because the service is just what they're having in their field or their farm or wherever they're going to. But for some people, it's that signing of the paper, which is their marriage, which is more important. So this change, what it's going to mean is that they can do everything in one place, in front of all their family and friends, and have the service that they want, the way they want, in the place they want to. So it's going to be amazing.
Okay. So, and we were talking about, you just mentioned their farmers' fields.
Yes.
And the like.
Yes.
That could be
anywhere.
Well, anyway, we were talking to the lady downstairs in this building, and technically someone could get married on the steps outside, and so legally married. And it's really important, because the word marriage kind of crossed quite a lot, and we're talking about the ceremony, not the reception here. So yeah, it could be in your family home, and I think the key bit for me is it becomes that place that's special to you, rather than just having to go to a registry office.
Let's both of us ask you to slip your headphones on. You've both got a pair of headphones next to you. I'm going to bring in Helen Cunningham, who's from Vintage Vacations on the Isle of Wight. Hi, Helen. Good morning.
Good morning. Hello.
Morning. Good to speak to you. Right, very briefly, outline what Vintage Vacations is.
Okay, so we've just completed our 15th season of the UK's original Airstream holidays. Now, they're the silver American caravans, vintage ones, so we have all of those in the farmer's field, as you've recently been saying.
So your reaction to this, I mean, does this mean somebody like yourself is jumping for joy and going, yes, at last we can do the whole wedding thing?
Totally. We've been doing weddings. I mean, people have been coming to us for weddings for quite some time now, but obviously what they've had to do in the past is do the legal bit on their own or with just their family or at the registry office, and then scoot over to the field where all their friends and relatives and everyone is to have the reception. So they'll be so delighted to be able to do everything all in one go.
So I guess, as soon as it's confirmed this afternoon, you're looking at your 2019 brochure in a bit of a different way now.
Well, hopefully it'll just be, more of the same, but just better for the people who want to do a wedding that's a bit unusual, that they won't have to split it.
Yeah.
It's fantastic for them.
Yeah, I was reading on various blogs over the weekend of people who are reacting to this and saying, look, who do you invite then to the registry one? And, how special do you make it?
Yeah, absolutely. It is exactly as you say. It just adds that extra layer of sort of red tape and complications to what should just be a very smooth, simple, amazing day.
I think it's because for those traditionalists within the family, your elder members of the family, grandparents and stuff, they want to see you get married, and to some, in some people's eyes, the getting married is that paper bit, and if you're not inviting them to that legal part,
you're just being almost just like invited to the evening.
Exactly.
Yes.
And it can be quite
things.
controversial in terms of who you invite and why you invite them. And for many people, it's just signing the paper. Other people, they want to have everyone there in front of them.
I guess it also does work. It's worth mentioning. I mean, it depends what the change is. I mean, they're talking about changing the law, but what is the change? I mean, in Scotland at the moment, we were just clarifying this, weren't we?
In Scotland, you can legally get married outside with a humanist celebrant.
Yes.
But what they're going to be doing in England and Wales to make that change, is it going to be a humanist ceremony? Is it going to be
And then
a blanket
who
coverage?
can conduct this? Do you get a registrar to come out?
It all starts getting
It's
very...
so much to cover.
Well, look,
so much to cover. We will
Stay with me, because we're going to talk more about this, and I'm going to talk to you about the cost of this as well, and whether you think it actually will mean that the cost comes down. We'll also talk about just how huge that wedding industry is. Well, so we're going to talk weddings on the show this morning. Hello, good morning. Do get in touch if you are planning a wedding and you are it's the conundrum that may be solved by the budget later, the conundrum of having to do the paperwork bit in a registry office. This is if you want a civil ceremony and then going somewhere else and basically amalgamating all of those. So in the studio with me, I've got Emily and Alan. They are founders of the Outside Bride blog, outdoor wedding specialists. They run several online groups giving advice and helping people with basically getting married outside. And Alan, you've got some statistics on this as well.
Yeah, so really for me, I wanted to start thinking about how many marriages there were. So the Office of National Statistics gives you 2015. So there was 245,513 marriages in the UK in 2015.
Right,
so
okay.
Trying to work out how many of them are outdoors is quite difficult. So we sort of spoke to our supplier network group we have, and we actually reckon 30 to 50% are outdoors.
But that's just having some sort of acknowledgement. It's not the actual physical marriage.
No, but what it shows is that people want that type of wedding. They want to have that freedom and to be able to do what they want, when they want, how they want to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wonder if the percentage would increase to outdoors if they don't need to go somewhere, or they think, well, let's just go to a hotel anyway, because something like 50% of licensed premises for civil ceremonies are hotels. So I wonder, is the percentage of outdoors just going to grow because they don't need, a couple who doesn't want to go to two places thinks, well, we'll just go to a hotel and do it type thing. What was the other thing? We actually, the stat on the average wedding cost is £30,000. That's
crazy.
It
is crazy. So we polled our group full of brides, the outside bride, grooms as well. It's just grooms doesn't rhyme. So it's the outside bride. And actually, the winning price is the most popular price is 10 to 15,000 in our group.
Closely followed by 20 to 25.
Closely followed by 20 to 25. So this is not a scientific poll. Some people might be including honeymoons. We do find in the outdoor world, you get a lot of DIYers. They want to go foraging. We have one bride, I can't think of her name, Charlotte, and literally, I think her wedding budget was like £500 because she's foraged for everything and made all the table. It's stunning. We get all the pictures sent in from them, and it's really, really is stunning. So I get where the figure has come from, because really we're just polling a few people, so you can see where it probably is about 30 grand really.
But on the same bit of information from the BBC, though, those figures, they say it's £6,000 for a venue.
Yeah.
And, on the face of it, you'd think, and by the way, we've still got Helen from the Isle of Wight from Vintage Vacations with us. On the face of it, you think, okay, if you don't have to pay £6,000 for a venue, i.e. you do it in your garden, you are going to save that money. And I wonder whether... Emily's shaking her head, by the way. And I wonder, actually, Helen, you've considered that. There's actually, you might be missing out on that chunk of money if lots and lots of people go and do it in their back gardens.
Well, I don't think any of the people that have come to us would fit that amount of people in their back gardens, to be perfectly honest, because most of the people that get married or have their reception with us, it's probably anything between about 70 to 100 people max. So they're not huge weddings, but they're a bit too big for a back garden, really. And I mean, we offer, we just have to hire out all of our Airstreams for the weekend, and that's the starting price. So that's, anything from 2,500. So that's what the kind of venue is for something outdoors, but, with already with accommodation, of course.
Yeah. Emily, you were shaking your head at this one.
Yeah, I think it's really important to note that the government is saying that this would be a cut-costing exercise in terms of getting the price of weddings down. But what you need to realise with an outdoor wedding is when you're creating an outdoor wedding, you're often starting from the ground up and you're building your own temporary venue. So, yes, you may be in your back garden, you may have a field for hire, but that could be £1,000 worth of field hire before you even start. If you're choosing to put a marquee on or a teepee or lots of beautiful geodesic domes, that comes at a cost. So by the time you've put all that together, plus the cost of toilets maybe or generators, that cost can be quite a substantial chunk of money. More so sometimes than a package wedding that you'll get at a hotel. So it's important to note that although this is going to be amazing in terms of flexibility and giving you that choice, it's not necessarily going to be the most cost-effective way of getting married. So it's really important that anyone looking to get married outside does realise from the start, because there are so many other hidden costs involved in an outdoor wedding. Yes, you might find your back garden, and we've had we've done lots of weddings in back gardens that are stunning, and that is a cost-saving exercise. But imagine what you've got to bring in as
the back gardens we've done jobs in are the back gardens that have the larger budgets. I think is the polite way of putting it. So,
sure. Because we've had the most amazing summer. But that is never guaranteed.
Never, ever.
And it's all very well seeing maybe on sort of Hollywood movies where they do a lot of outdoor weddings in gardens, don't they?
You have to have a backup plan.
Yeah, and you have all, the lovely white chairs lined up and the arch of flowers and all the rest of it. It's not like that here.
We wish.
No, we wish. No, and you can't plan for that. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think we're still riding in this wave in this country of the staycation that came off the back of the recession and all that years and years ago. And I think people have started to realise actually this country's amazing, and it is. We're huge fans of this country, and I think the whole glamping is trending up, and outdoor weddings is trending up. Wedfests and all of this.
Sorry, Wedfest.
Wedfest. Do you not know of Wedfest?
Wedfest.
Our favourite thing on this planet.
I have no idea what this is.
Wedfest, basically, rather than having a day of a wedding, making a weekend wedding out of it. So having people get on the Friday and the Saturday staying over, and having live bands throughout, and having street food vans coming along, and making a proper party out of it.
There's even wedding fairs that cater specifically for Wedfests.
Do you know, okay, how embarrassing is this? I've just realised that's what I did. I just didn't know it was called a Wedfest.
Everything's got a name.
It just meant that people stayed over for a couple of days.
That's a really nice way of doing it. I think that's going to be more and more popular. Whether you call it a Wedfest in 5 years or not, it doesn't really matter. But it's people staying for the weekend, not worrying about taxis and hotels and all that kind of stuff, but having a really good party and having a great time. And that's
where our bell tent kind of other thing came from and everything.
Tell me, just in the last minute that we've got, we are unsure what the Chancellor is going to say this afternoon.
No idea.
We don't know. There have just been these very strong hints, hence why we're talking about it. You two are so across the whole wedding industry. I mean, and it's a massive industry for this country. Is there one thing that you think actually he really could do this afternoon that would really help maybe smaller businesses that are helping wedding couples, on the legislation, or making sure there's another industry that profits from it? I don't know. Is there an area that always comes up on your Facebook groups?
No, I don't think there is. And please, I am not an expert on this, but some kind of support, more support for smaller businesses would. I'm even hesitating because this really isn't my area of expertise. Some more support for smaller businesses and for startups would be amazing. We know so many tiny one-man band businesses in the wedding industry, because that's what it supports, and that's from ladies or gents who are florists to prosecco vans to street food. It's all small teams. So I don't know whether that's a tax break for small businesses or something. I think that's where it is, and then the knock-on is just there for the rest of the the industry and the clients at the end of the day.
Well, I tell you what, we're going to speak to one of our correspondents about what is expected, everything else that is is expected to be in the budget in the next 5 minutes or so. Get their view on it live from Downing Street, and the Chancellor stands up. 3:30 this afternoon, there will be full coverage with a local panel assessing how the budget will affect us here in the South, with Louisa Hannon later this afternoon here on BBC Radio Solent. Thank you so much for coming in, talking weddings with us, Emily and Alan
Absolute
from
pleasure.
Loved it,
Outside
thank you.
Bride. Thank you.
Thank you.